What's up, everyone? Now, mind y'all, I was supposed to do this particular topic last night, but I got sidetracked. But now I'm doing this particular topic, and it's going to cause some controversy. But I love some controversy in this bitch. Now, as you can see in the thumbnail, you see the difference between men and women when it comes to them expressing their sexuality. Now, with a man, they're called studs, they're called the player, all the positive traits, right? But when a woman expresses her sexuality, it don't matter. Anything minuscule. She's all types of sluts, whores, a thought. She's all these things. And see, the feminism inside of me be on some like, why is that right? Why is it okay for a man to be able to express their sexuality and not get judged for it? But if a woman expresses her sexuality, she's all types of whores and sluts and shit. Why is it seen as a negative thing? Because to me, sex should be a positive thing. There's nothing wrong with a woman expressing herself. Like, just because a woman is into her sexuality doesn't make her automatically a slut or whore. What's up, Uncommon? Hey, sis. What's good? But yeah, this has really been weighing heavy on me because it's not cool. Like, I can bring up incidents with me. Now, mind you, I've been through puberty at a very young age with a mindset still young, childlike, because I was really young when I went through puberty. And I was around, when did I first go through puberty? I remember getting boobs in the 5th grade. So I was around 9 or 10 years old. And I remember when I was going through that, I was like, oh my gosh, my body is changing. And boys was noticing me and shit. What's up, Bobby? How are you? And so, I mean, and then over the years, I started getting attention from older men, even though I'm a fucking minor. And so it was mad awkward for me because I wasn't even like a sexual person, but because of the way my body type was, I got a lot of attention from boys and men alike trying to get at me. And at the time, I was very uncomfortable with all that attention. And at times, they sometimes assumed certain things about me because of my body type and the way I carried myself. And I was no way near sexual at all. But the way I carried myself was on some, oh, she got sex appeal. And it was even meant to be that way. It may be the way I talk, the way I carry myself that attracted men. And to be real with you, my ass ain't never really been promiscuous. I've always been attuned to my sexuality though. Like at a young age, and this is nothing, I wasn't taught to discover my body. No, it was something I learned on my own. When I was a preteen, I learned about my body, and I discovered myself by self-pleasure. So I always had a positive attitude when it came to my sexuality. And I was nowhere near a whore. I believed I was very wise beyond my years growing up. I never felt like I had to do things just to get a guy. Nah, I did things on my terms. What's up, Just Chillin'? What's up, Bobby? What's up, James? And when I was 13, I had my first boyfriend. And the thing is, I wasn't even supposed to be dating. But this popular boy liked me. And so I liked all the attention I was getting from him pursuing me and shit. And so we dated briefly. And mind y'all, it didn't last long. And we ain't do shit beyond holding hands and shit. Ain't no sex went on and none of that shit. Just some innocent shit. But I liked the attention I was getting. And I was a new kid in school. So this popular boy was pursuing me and wanted me to be his girlfriend and shit. And I was like, I can't date. I'm not supposed to date and shit. And he just kept on like pursuing me and shit, telling me how he really likes me and shit. And then after a while, I just gave in because I just liked the attention he was giving me. And so we dated briefly. And it didn't last long. So when I was in high school, I had a lot of guys trying to holler at me. A lot of dudes. And some of them I entertained. Some of them I just kept it friendly. And I never had no problems attracting a guy at all in my lifetime. It's a normal thing for me. Even as of now. Bobby says, you are wow. Beautiful voice. Thanks, Bobby. So yeah, it's just so unfair the way women are picked apart and judged. And then you even have like these pick-me women, the ones who want to get chosen, they go out, the ones that want to get chosen by a man but they go out of their way to tear a woman apart in hopes the guy would want them. you got women like that as well. They just constantly judge women. And we call those types pick-me's. And I just feel like women should just be. Why does a woman got to be picked apart? Like, you even see, like, on even with this online shit, right? And it will always be this way. Anytime a chick have her shit out there, as far as pics and shit, just risque shit, like a woman just it really comes down to which woman it is, because this is what I notice. And I'm not trying to make it into a race thing, but let's be real. Anytime a chick's shit gets out there, she gets called all types of sluts and shit like that. And sometimes white chicks do get a pass for that. Sometimes. Passes where it wouldn't be the same for a black girl, a black woman. And this is another thing I never understood. Why, if something like that happens, right? Why does it have to affect a person's real life? Like, we all know that sex is normal. We all know everybody wouldn't be here on this planet if it wasn't for sex. So it's like, why, if something like your sex tape drop or your fucking pics get out there, why does it have to be like, oh my gosh, your life is over? Like, why does someone why does it have to affect someone's personal life? Like, no one should be shamed for something like that. Like, it's just weird. Like, it's like sex should be seen as natural, but yet we treat it like some taboo shit, to where, depending on the situation, your life has to be over if your shit gets put out there. And it shouldn't even be that way. And the whole slut shaming thing, that has to stop as well. And what slut shaming pretty much means is you're basically like criticizing a woman who are perceived to violate expectations or whatever that you feel a woman should live up to. Like, for instance, if a woman is dressed in a certain way, you get slut shame. If you have premarital sex, you're slut shame. Or so-called had casual sex or so-called promiscuous sex, oh, you're slut shame. And even if you were sexually assaulted, oh, you're slut shame. You shouldn't wear that outfit. Like, we just need to let women be. Like, a woman should be able to express her sexuality however she sees fits, just like a man does or has for centuries. Like, men can express their sexuality and nobody will not shame them for that. But with women, we pick women apart for any little thing. Like, why women can't have that luxury to be themselves? And that's another thing. Like, some of these women even like try to put on this front like they're not doing shit. You know, the ones who try to act like they don't have a freaky side of them. Like, they'll try to lie to a guy and try to make it seem like they don't do certain things when we know that's some bullshit. Kind of like one of those born again virgins, you know, those types. They want to they want a guy to think of them a certain way, so they make a guy wait and shit, thinking somehow that's going to get a guy to respect them if they betray themselves a certain type of light when they're far from it. What's up, Super Saiyan? You want me to say the word bitch? Okay. Biatch? Is that better? Yeah, Super Saiyan, you can use my voice if you want. Yeah. Hey, record this shit. Biatch. Super Saiyan says Lamar gets slut shame all the time. Well, he brags too much about it, about sex. It's like he overly does it. Like, he just brags about shit that only an adolescent would make a big deal about. Uncommon says we men have our own set of expectations. Yeah, and women shouldn't have to live up to certain expectations. Like, we should be allowed to express our sexuality how we see fit. Like, I'm one of these people, like, this is the type of person I am. I'm like, to tell you the truth, I'm not fucking promiscuous, but at the same time, I'm real about mine. I'm honest with a guy. I'm real. I don't sit over here beat around the fucking bush. If I'm horny, I will let a guy know I am. I'm not gonna sit over here and put on the front like I don't want to get some. Like, I don't be doing all that shit. I don't be playing games and stuff. I'm very clear of what I want from a man. I don't be around the bush. I'm real. I'm actually like too real. And not a lot of women feel they can be real because they're trying to live up to all these unrealistic expectations. And another thing, it's a myth that women don't love sex just as much as men. That's not true. Women do. They just put on a motherfucking front. But they do. Women cheat just as much as men. Yes, they do. They do all the stuff that a man do. Some of them, they just put on the front. And I'm not one of those women. I don't lie to a man. To the point, I will tell a man what I want, what I expect. Like, a man can pretty much ask me anything and I will answer that shit as truthful and honest as possible. That's me. I never felt like I had to lie or put on a fucking facade. No, I never felt like I had to do that. And men respect me for just being real, just keeping it real. What's up, Black Karen? Hashtag feminism. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, this is what I want people to understand when it comes to me identifying as a feminist. I'm not I'm not one of these stone cold, like whatever stereotype y'all think of it. I just identify as it because I just feel like what I, experience. I just believe in a woman having agency over her body. Like, I don't bring none of that bullshit into a relationship or what have you. No. Like, I'm very submissive. Like, when it comes to relationships, like, I'm really into cooking a guy's favorite food and shit like that. Like, I'm one of these people that's very nurturing. And I want to be treated like a queen as well. But like, I have that nurturing characteristic. Uncommon says feminist or not, she gonna bow down regardless. Well, yeah, like me, I'm the submiss. I'm naturally submissive, like in relationships or whatever. Like, I pretty much go out of my way spoiling a guy, rubbing his back and shit like that. Like, I'm very nurturing. Like, I'm the type that asks a guy, "How's your day?" and all that shit. Like, that's just me. So yeah, I just want to show people, you know, don't believe all the stereotype about feminists, because I assure you, like, I don't identify with the stereotypes or whatever. So yeah, man, we gotta get rid of all that slut shaming shit. And that's another thing. Me as a woman, I don't give a fuck what any woman does with her body, her coochie. I don't give a fuck. That's not a concern of mine. And I will never go out of my way to pick a woman apart because I don't give a fuck. I'm not sleeping with the said woman. I don't give a fuck what's going on with her coochie. I don't give a fuck. Like, there's just certain shit I don't give a fuck about. I've never been threatened by another female. I ain't never been the type that felt like I had to compete with another woman. I always been concerned about my damn self. Because I'm confident in me. Like, I'm secure in myself. I'm not worrying about what the next woman is doing. I feel like every woman has their own identity. Every woman is beautiful in their own way. And I never felt like I had to fuck another woman over to gain attention or anything like that. Like, I actually go out my way to try to get along with a woman. I do. And I've never been that type to be intimidated by no female at all. But I've also, in my lifetime, had experience some women hating on me because I may have got with a guy that they wanted, or a guy was interested in me and they saw me as a threat. So I experienced my fair share of it. But I never been the type to be like, oh, I ain't fucking with these chicks. Nah, I always wanted to have a sense of sisterhood with another woman. I just can't stand, like, women who go out of their way trying to break a woman down because they feel like that's going to build their self-esteem up. I don't respect that, and I will never. I mean, I will never respect that shit. And I think, and that's another thing I find sad. Women should not be going out way tearing each other down and seeing each other as competition. No, we should be able to build each other up. Like, you see men, like, they don't go out of their way trying to, don't get me wrong, they have conflicts, but at the end of the fucking day, like, they're not out here trying to tear each other down to feel like, oh, I want to be the only guy on top. But with some women, they feel like, oh, I gotta push this chick aside so I can be on top and shit. It's just like with the whole female rappers resurgence. Like Nicki Minaj, she brought female rappers back to mainstream media. But see, when she was getting all that competition, when all these female rappers was coming out, she felt like, damn, I don't want none of these chicks upstaging me. Because I feel like we should all be able to coexist. Women should be able to coexist. Why does everything need to be a goddamn competition? Like, I don't agree with putting women against each other. Like, it's okay to have a little competition, but don't feel like, oh, this woman can't coexist with me. Nah. Like, you will never see someone like Drake say, I don't want to coexist with fucking Jay-Z or some shit. So why do women feel they gotta do that? Or society feel like, oh, more women can't share the spotlight. Like, I think that's crazy. And we gotta stop doing that. We gotta stop like putting women against each other all the time and feeling like we can't coexist. And for me, this is another thing that kind of gets to me. I get so offended when some people say, oh, a woman is devalued or some shit. Like, what does that even mean? Like somehow she's tainted or what have you. Like, do we say, oh, a certain man is devalued? Like, I don't get it. Like, I hate certain terms. Like, I do. Sexy says, Harley, are you dense? Male rappers have beef all the time for more than female rappers. I'm not saying male rappers don't beef. This is what I'm saying. And this is what I noticed when Nicki Minaj came onto the scene. Why did it seem like when more female rappers was coming on the scene, like Nicki Minaj saw them as competition, why can't we just be like, oh, there are more female rappers, we can coexist. Like with male rappers, they'll beef with each other, but they're not out here trying to get rid of all the male rappers, and so the one male rapper can be on top. That's what I mean by that. Like, you don't see the media pinning other male rappers against each other and saying how, oh, it can only be one male rapper on top. Nah, but they'll do that with female rappers or female pop stars and shit like that. Like somehow a woman can't coexist with other women and shit. Like, why is that? That's all I was talking about. So yeah, I was saying, Sexy did say your points are not well thought out. You should think about your discussion topic before coming to social media research to think about what you're going to say. That's a strong argument. And you know that goes on with other women. You know that women are pent against each other because we feel like more than one woman can't coexist. You know this goes on. But anyways, Five Kingdom says because the nowadays female rappers sell sex, not music. Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother topic for another day. This is what I don't get. I'm not now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against anyone rapping about shit they want to rap about. But why does it seem like female rappers have to only just rap about sex? Like they just always have to sell sex. Like why can't women have the luxury to rap about a whole variety of shit? Like someone like Queen Latifah, she didn't rap about sex. She rapped about a whole lot of shit. You had artists like MC Light. You have what other thing? You have Roxanne. What's up, Arm Rebellion? You said shout out to the frogs. Yeah, you hear them shits. They're loud as it's just bitch. Five Kingdom says most women can't exist with themselves. And that's sad because it shouldn't be that way. Like we should be able to coexist just like men do. Like they're not telling each other, oh, only one guy gets to be on top. So why should it be like that for women? Like we should be able to coexist. We ain't got to be the goddamn best of friends, but we can still coexist. Sexy Daisy says female entertainers generally sell sex across all media platforms, not just female rappers. Listen, let me tell you about male rappers. Male rappers rap about a whole variety of things. Now, mainstream rappers, they rap about fucking drugs. They rap about fucking women, money, a whole variety of bullshit. Quasi says, "What's up, Harley? There you go. There you go, them front. Yeah, they loud as a bitch, Quasi. it should be funny as fuck because y'all be hearing that shit. That's how loud them shits are. Sexy Daisy said that's not true. There are many examples of sisterhood in society. I mean, there's yeah, in certain instances, yeah. But I'm just bringing up just in general, like, why does it feel like we as a women can't just coexist with one another? Why does it have to be like a competition thing? Why? I mean, why does everything have to be seen as a competition? Why can't we just coexist? That's what I'm saying. Sexy said, female rappers rap about many topics too. Your views limited, Harley. That's why you should have researched your topic. I'm talking about like mainstream rappers. I'm not now. The female rappers that's underground, yeah, they have the freedom to rap about anything they want because they're independent and they're not backed by a label, because the labels are the one telling the artists what they want them to rap about, how they want them to dress and shit like that. Mainstream female rappers, they're the ones that's rapping about limited shit like sex and shit. But I noticed like them underground female rappers, they're not limited to just merely about sex. They can rap about a whole variety of shit. Now, as far as me, I sue sexuality, right? I have a natural sex appeal, but at the same time, I also have shit to contribute to society. I don't just see myself as big tits and big ass. Nah. I care about a whole variety of shit. Like, I'm very book smart. I have interests. There's things I care about in the world. I care about social issues. I care about the environment. I care about the economy. I care about a whole lot of shit, man. And I'm fascinated with other people's cultures and shit. I study the maps. I into geography. So yeah, Sexy Daisy, you are really steadfast on this, ain't you? And I do research, honey. I do. So, anyways, I wanted to bring something up that happened today. And it was crazy. All I gotta say about Rio's baby mama coming out the woodwork is this. That bullshit would never, ever happen to me. Nobody in my real life that's close to me would ever be caught dead talking to none of these motherfuckers in regards to me. Period. And I'm gonna say another thing. Don't nobody that's close to me in my real life know shit about this YouTube shit I'm on. I keep motherfuckers away. Okay? And that's all I'm gonna say about that. And that's another thing. I don't agree. This is just me. This is how I feel personally. I'm not with all that bringing your personal business on the social media. Like, I'm not with all that. Like, me, type of person I am, I believe in handling shit private with the said person. I don't agree with all that bringing all your business on social media like that. Because these motherfuckers do not care. They just entertain. They don't give a fuck about the said people. They just want to be entertained and stuff. Like, I'm not even with all that. Sexy Days said, I really like your channel. You could actually grow beyond this BS sector, but don't cheat yourself by going after low hanging fruit, okay? Think outside the box. And I do think outside the box. I try to do other topics. I try to talk about a variety of things. Like, I don't place limitations on myself. I'll talk a little fuckery and shit. I mean, I don't mind roasting a motherfucker. But at the same time, I also want to talk about other things I care about, or things that spark my interest and things like that. Hey, Randy.
Hello.
Hey, what's good?
It is a double standard when it comes to men and women, when it comes to sexuality, because when a man has multiple women and expresses sexuality is cool, like people are okay with it, but when a woman does it, she's a hoe, she's a slut. A woman can't be with more than one guy. It's a double standard.
Exactly. And it shouldn't be that way, because you see a man, when he's with multiple women, he gets all this positive accolades and stuff. He's a player, he's a
Yes.
pimp, he's a stud. If a woman is with multiple men, oh, she doesn't get those same type of positive accolades.
She's a slut.
Yeah.
Because like men, yeah, we get celebrated for being with multiple women. And I just think that's a double standard based on gender. So it is a double standard. I do agree. And
Yeah.
also people, and also you was talking about earlier when you was talking about like people say that sex is a taboo. I mean, sex is normal. Like a lot of people try to make it seem like it's a taboo, but to me, like it's normal. Like I don't
Yeah.
see nothing wrong with it because
Right.
I mean, people just like I don't know, like people be tripping.
Yeah, it's crazy how that's what I'm saying. Why does anything revolving around sex, which should be seen as normal, because if it wasn't for
Right,
that, none of us would be here if it wasn't for
right.
sex. And I don't understand why it, why anything relating to it. Is it such why does it feel like your life is over you're if you're if you're
Having
anything
sex.
like a sex tape get dropped or something? Why does it feel like, oh, you'll lose your job? Or why does it have to be seen as like, because me personally, I don't give a fuck about someone's sex life. I give a fuck about a good job you're doing. That's what I give a fuck about. I don't care less.
Fact.
I could care less about people's sex lives. Like shit like that I don't care about. Like, but society does.
But it comes to like being brainwashed and religion. A lot of people are taught that, oh, sex is bad and it's sinful to make love. To me, sex is not bad. Like it's normal, it's natural. Like because me personally, I can't be with a woman that's not freaky and sexual. If you're not freaky and sexual, you're not my type. Every woman I ever dated was sexual and freaky. And I'm honest about my sex life. Like I don't got nothing to hide. I like freaky women and I'm a freak, so I'm just gonna be honest about that. Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, it's part of life. It should not be anything shameful. And that's another thing, like, even like a woman's breast, okay. I don't see it. I don't, okay, we all know, guys get turned on by a woman's breast or whatever. But also, a woman's breast is for feeding babies. Why is that seen as a sexual act? It's not a sexual act. A woman is feeding her child. Like, why does a
But
woman have to cover up her boob when she's breastfeeding? Like, why does it have, like, she's breastfeeding? That's
because
what a woman's breast is
go
there
ahead.
for, to feed their child.
But there's a time and place for everything though, because you don't want a woman to be breastfeeding her child in public around children and the public and stuff. So I kind of have
But
an issue with that.
yeah, but it's not a sexual act. She's just feeding her child. She's not out here screwing around in public. She's feeding her child. I mean, I don't see a woman breastfeeding as a sexual thing. Like, even like Coco, she got Ice-T's wife, right?
Yes,
Okay, she got flack recently for continuing to still breastfeed her child, which she's 5 right now. I think, yeah, she's like 5 years old, I think. Yeah. And so she was just saying how, she's not going to stop breastfeeding her child until her child wants to stop breastfeeding. And, I mean, personally, I don't think there's anything wrong. I mean, because every child is different, but I mean, don't get me wrong, there's limitations, but I don't see
5
nothing
years
wrong
old.
with a woman prolonging breastfeeding. I mean, say if a
That's too long.
child is 3 years old or whatever, but there should be a limit.
Yes, because my mom like she stopped breastfeeding us at 2. Like she told us like she stopped breastfeeding us at 2. Like 5 years old, that's too old. Like that's almost in first grade. But to each their own. Like I'm a guy, so I'm kind of neutral with that. So yeah, I'm kind of neutral.
Yeah. Elm says Coco shouldn't breastfeed a 5-year-old, but I don't think breastfeeding is bad. I mean, each their own. I mean, would I personally breastfeed my child at that age? Put it like this: the moment my child is growing teeth, I'm gonna wean them off a little. But I mean, other than that, I mean, Coco, I mean, she's a mother, and I mean, she knows her child, so I mean, it's up to her. It's up to it's up to the woman and her child.
Facts.
Some, yeah, because like some children, they're hard to wean off. They're so used to breastfeeding. Oh, they're so used to being breastfed. Like, so it just really comes down to the child, really. So yeah, just like, yeah, like a woman breastfeeding shouldn't be seen as a sexual act. It's not. You're feeding your child.
It's kind of because like you see that in porno when people be licking a woman's breast and stuff. So that's kind of sexual to me.
Yeah, but they're not. She's not breastfeeding. That's just like a sexual. That's just like a sexual act. I mean, that's not. They're not breastfeeding. I mean, you. She's getting her tits sucked on. That's. I mean, that's like foreplay. That's not the same thing as breastfeeding.
Facts.
Sexy's asks, here's the real question. Why is it bad to breastfeed a 5-year-old? That's actually a discussion point. I don't think there's nothing wrong. I mean, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it because every child is different. Some children, they're hard to wean off. So I mean, I don't personally have an issue with it because that's just between the mother and the child. I just know, like, for me, I would breastfeed I would continue to breastfeed my child, but the moment my child started growing teeth and stuff, I want to kind of like wean them off. If I was a mother or whatever.
I mean, some women are different because like my kids, like my baby mothers, they stopped breastfeeding them at 1. So when I used to go pick them up, they had a bottle. So yeah, some people are different. So
Yeah, I don't see breastfeeding as a sexual act. That's a woman's breast is for feeding their babies. That's not a sexual act. That's another thing. I don't agree with a woman shouldn't even have to like leave to go breastfeed her child in a fucking bathroom. No, you should be able to take your boob out and feed your child.
she
Like
should
it should
cover.
not be seen. It should
She
not
should
be seen
cover up,
as a sex act. You're feeding your child. That's what your breast is there for, to feed your child.
but she should cover. Like women should cover up if they're going to do that in public because you have a lot of perverts and you have a lot of children too, and you don't want kids to see that type of stuff either. So
Well, I mean, I witnessed a woman breastfeeding her child, and I didn't get disgust or anything like that. I just like, oh, she's feeding her child. Went about my business. I wasn't disgusted by the act. It was normal for me.
but you're a female, but if it's a guy, like what I'm saying, being around and a woman is breastfeeding, that's kind of like
But
exotic.
but that's the guy. That's like saying, oh, a woman shouldn't dress a certain type of way because that's going to turn a guy on. No, a woman should have the freedom to dress how she wants. A woman, that's not a woman's
But
problem
that's
if a guy um
but
have sex on their mind. Like a woman can be dressing conservative and a guy will still get turned on. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
because you can't dress sexy then expect a guy to like not be turned on and stuff because guys are gonna treat you how you dress and stuff. If you dress like a hoe, a guy's gonna treat you like a hoe. Just like a lady, a guy's gonna treat you like a lady.
But see, I don't agree. I don't agree with that because just a woman, it doesn't matter what a woman wears. She should still be treated with respect.
But it's hard to do that though, like because I be seeing women that be dressing sexy, and I get turned on in public, and I treat women that dress a certain way different than I treat a woman that dresses real sexy. Like if a woman is sexy, I'm gonna try to holler at her, and I'm gonna talk to her different than I would a classy woman that's dressed respectfully and conductive, but productive. I mean, go ahead.
But I just feel like I just feel like a woman should have the freedom to wear how she wants without being hounded. Like,
That's not gonna happen because men and women are different. Like we are programmed. Like men are sexual creatures. Like we think about sex 24/7. Like we are different from you females. I mean, women. Like we are different. So that's not gonna happen ever. Like sorry to say that. Like it's truth. Go ahead.
but yeah, I just feel that yeah, I just feel like women
Are you a feminist?
am I a feminist?
Yes.
I mean I identify as one. I mean listen, I would believe in I believe in intersectional feminism. Like there's so many school of thoughts. Like feminism is not one fit. It's not just one thing. It's the whole. It's so many schools of thoughts. Like of feminism.
Okay.
Like I mean I don't agree with certain aspects of it. Like I am for gender equality. So it's like if I believe in that, yeah, I identify as a feminist in that regard.
But men and women are not equal though, because men are stronger than women technically. So how can we be equal? Man, a man is stronger, and also men do more work than women in society. So how are you guys going to be equal to us? Like
No, 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 no. This is not what it means. When you're talking about equality, you just believe in men and women alike having rights. You believe that
we're not
they
equal
should
though.
have agency over, they should have control of their own destiny. We don't feel that you should be discriminated against because of your gender. That's what we mean when we say treat with equality. It's just like how we're against racism, right? As Black people, we all want to be treated
Yes.
fairly, right? So it's the same thing with gender equality. We're not saying like, oh, men and women are alike as far as biology goes. Well, no, what we're saying is they should be treated with fairness regardless. They shouldn't be discriminated against. That's what we're pretty much saying. Like
But
just
the
like a
Bible,
Black person or any other race shouldn't be discriminated against based off their skin color.
but the Bible places men above women though. See, a lot of women have that problem with me because I'm not gonna lie, I am a sexist. I'm just gonna be honest, but I still respect women, but I am a sexist. So I'm actually working on myself, but I don't see men and women as equal because of the Bible. Like we are not equal. Like and yeah,
Like I believe that if you're capable of doing it, you should be allowed to. I don't believe someone should be shut out of a certain job because of their gender or sex. I don't agree with
no,
that.
no, no, no. I don't
That's what I mean
either.
when I'm
Oh,
saying I'm for gender equality. Like
oh
I'm not
yeah. I
yeah.
thought you mean like you wanted women to replace men and be above men and
No, no,
that's
that's what I'm saying. That's another thing. Like people misunderstand like feminism.
okay.
Like I know there's all type. I know there's like negative stereotypes or whatever. I understand that, but
Fact.
because but because I identify as one, I'm for like when I say gender equality, I'm meaning as far as being paid the same for the same job. I mean, like, I don't feel that women and men alike should be discriminated against until
But
they can't work at a certain job because of their gender. No, I don't agree with that. I
but
don't.
men do most of the work though. You guys don't do a lot of work. Like who's building the buildings, the bridges, doing all the heavy labor? Men are doing that. That's why they're getting paid more than women. So how can you make the same as men doing less work? That's a problem I have with you women. Like y'all want to be paid the same for doing less work. Y'all can't
But
do
if a
certain.
woman, I mean, I feel this is how I feel. If a woman wants to do that line of work, if she wants to build buildings and stuff, she should
Can't,
be able to do that. If she's capable of doing the work, I feel like she can do that.
but y'all not strong enough to do that. Like that's a man's job. Like labor jobs are for men.
Women are in the military.
But you guys not in the front lines though. The men are.
Women are joining the military.
But y'all don't fight in the front lines. That's what I mean. Y'all join the military, but y'all to take on the medical jobs and the
That's
aid
not
jobs.
true. There's women that's putting in work. You have women that's on Marines. You have
I mean
women in
combat.
the army. So, and that's another thing. Women been fighting for centuries. You wouldn't
No,
hear
y'all
stories
haven't.
about you wouldn't hear stories about women disguising themselves as a man during Civil War because they were willing to fight because back then women were discriminated
I
against
didn't
from
know that. Go ahead.
fight in wars and stuff. So they disguised themselves as a man, and that was
Man,
going on during the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. So women, I mean, if a
I didn't
woman
know that.
wants to fight a war, she should have that freedom to do that. If that's what she wants. That's
I
what I mean.
agree.
I say gender equality. I don't believe that women should be shut out of things just for her gender, and that goes for a man. A man and woman should be able to take on jobs that they're capable of doing. If you're capable
Most
of doing the work, you shouldn't be discriminated against.
I'll say most jobs. I mean, some jobs women just can't do. Like women can't lift no 300 pounds, no heavy equipment and bricks and construction work and all that type of stuff. I don't believe a woman can do that. That's just my beliefs. So don't get mad at me. Go ahead.
But anyways, yeah, that's what. But yeah, that's why I identify as a feminist because I am for the quality of for men and women. I'm for the quality of the genders. I don't feel not, and that's another thing. Like if a man wants to do something that's not stereotypically a male job, he should have that freedom to do that. If you want to fucking do nails, you should be able to do that. If you want to do
That's
women's
gay.
hair, you should be able to do that. I don't believe in telling a man, "Oh, you're not allowed to do that because you're a man." No, I don't agree with that. I don't
I
subscribe to
do.
gender stereotypes. No. No,
That's not male.
I feel like a man and woman should be able to do things that interest them. I don't believe in telling or man nor a woman that you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that because that's not for you. And that's another thing, like even the whole stereotype of colors, like they said that first of all, the color blue was never the color blue used to be considered a girly color. So how did it change from that to it being a boyish color? Like things change depending on society at the moment. And that's I don't agree with certain things being, oh, this is men's color, this is women's color. Like I don't like if a guy wears a pink shirt, I'm not gonna question his sexuality and be like, oh, you're gay because you wear a pink
Oh, that's
shirt.
it
No,
again.
it's just a fucking color.
No, that means he's gay. He's in the closet and he needs to come out of
Okay,
the closet.
Is
In that
Cameron
color.
gay because he wore pink? He was known for wearing pink, and he wasn't seen as gay.
He might be in the closet. It's a lot of men in the closet. Just like this title says, like a lot of men. It's a stereotype when it comes to sexuality. A lot of men are in the closet.
Because I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I don't assume a guy is gay just for a fucking color. No, it's just a fucking color.
Straight men do not wear pink. Straight men do not do women's nails. Straight men do not do hair. That's
That's
homosexuals
not
and
true because I actually had a hairstylist that was straight and he did women hair.
in the closet. No.
He loved women. He
Okay.
he was a straight man and he did hair. And I know a couple of men that were straight but they did women hair. They weren't gay. That's what I'm saying. You can't always like go by
Not that
stereotypes.
you know of, though. It's a lot of people in the closet, just like I said. So, but you might be right. So, thank you for having me, Queen. Like, I just wanted to come up for a second just to speak to you. But thank you for having me. I'm going back in the chat. Peace, Queen.
Okay. Okay. Now, y'all know we're going to have a conversation about feminism. Okay. Let me ask people in the chat room. Okay, Sexy, Daisy, Jackie, or any woman in the chat room, what or even a man, what do y'all feel about feminism? First of all, Jack Jackie said brought up about Margaret Sanger. All I know about that lady is her ass was for the eugenics, so it's like fuck her. But I appreciate her for pushing birth control for women. But that other shit she was down with, the eugenics, oh fuck her for life. Because that impacted black people as well. Like eugenics was all about desirable, not procreating, and black people were considered that, and they forced sterilization onto the mentally disabled and black women, forced sterilization. So she was involved in that. Okay, it's like Daisy says she supports feminism, gender equality. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so much misconception. Like, people just assume like a bunch of stereotypes about feminism. That's why it's like so looked on. It's so frowned upon because people are just not educated on what feminism entails. It's like there's so many branches of feminism. Like, I'm a feminist, and I just think that men and women alike should not be discriminated against for their sex. Both parties should have the freedom to live their best life. They should have the freedom to have a career that they want. I don't agree with telling one sex you can't do this. Like, I don't agree with that. And that's all I'm trying to present. Like, there's no different. There's like I don't understand why people think gender equality means you want a woman to overpower a man. No, that's not what feminism is supposed to be about. No, feminism is supposed to be about gender equality for both sexes. It's not about a woman trying to up the man. No, it's about equality. It's just like we as black people or any other ethnicity, if we're fighting against racism, we're not trying to we're not trying to discriminate against the right race. No, we want to be treated fairly. And that's no different with feminism. We believe that both parties should be treated fairly. That's what we're promoting. And people really like misunderstood the whole point of feminism. Like, don't get me wrong, there's extreme cases of it. And I don't subscribe to that. I subscribe to gender equality. And there's nothing wrong with that. It should be nothing wrong with that. Because all I'm saying is that men and women alike should be treated fairly. They shouldn't be discriminated against because of their gender. Like, I would never like, that's another thing. Like, when I tell you I'm fair, like, okay, for instance, like, I did a story on Kelly Clarkson and her husband's divorce, and she has to like pay alimony because she makes more money than him. Did I complain about that as a feminist? No, because it just comes with the territory. She married a guy that made less than her, so it came with the territory, so she has to pay him. It is what it is. I mean, I actually live up to the feminist brand. Like, I actually live up to it. Sexy Daisy says eugenics was actually instituting Darwin's principle of survival of the fittest. should be purged. I'm sorry, but it's true. Eugenics was a crock of shit. It was so discriminatory on so many levels. They didn't allow to mental disabled to procreate. Blacks got in the bullshit and they forced sterilize them without their fucking consent because they didn't want black people procreating. So a lot of that bullshit was going on back in the day. So that was a flawed fucking theory. The whole eugenics shit. It was bullshit from the gate. Five Kingdoms says just call it gender equality, not feminism. Five Kingdom, gender, that's what feminism means if you look it up in the dictionary. It means gender equality. You believe in the quality of the sexes. If you believe in that, that makes you a feminist. Okay, Randy. Likewise. BSC says racial hygiene was the principle of eugenics. Sexy says, think about this. There is a whole segment of our community that read at the 4th grade level. Black men that don't seek higher education, they should be purged because they say, I don't agree. I ain't gonna go as far as say black men need to be purged. I mean, I love the black man. I ain't gonna go as far as say that. Anthony Byers says, Harley, you know it's not really about gender equality. On my end, I mean, it is about gender equality, but if I feel like someone is being discriminated against, I mean, I would speak out. I'd be like, yo, you're discriminating against that person. And Anthony Byers said, and women can't complain about double standards when they benefit from a lot of them. I mean, there's double standards. There's double standards in ways. But that's just one of them, though, when it comes to sexuality. Like, women get picked apart and judged harshly versus a man who expresses their sexuality. When a man expresses their sexuality, they get positive feedback. They get all these positive terms and stuff. But when a woman does something similar to a guy or just does something minuscule as anything sexual, she gets written off as a slut, a whore, a thought, any other negative names you can think of. Anthony Byers says, Harley, women are amongst the biggest body shamers. Well, I don't agree with shaming someone's body. I don't agree with that. And men do it as well. They shame women's body, especially if the woman gets fat or whatever. They shame them for gaining weight. Some of them, I mean, men and women like shame people's bodies. I mean, I'm not for that, but people do it. Anthony Byers says, the same women supporting big girls and saying love all women will assault men who don't fit their height or weight with no issue. Women, this is a thing though, like, even in the media, like, a guy doesn't get shamed as much for being average size or having a little weight on them versus a woman. In the media, they expect all women to fit a certain type of standard. They expect women to always be thin 24/7, 7. So big girls has never big in the history, big women have never been celebrated in the media. And you don't even see a lot of big women in lead roles, like just in serious roles in general, like as the love interest or whatever. She's seen as a comedy relief, if you will. Anthony Byers says men body shame, but we get called out for being ignorant. Women, the excuse of it's just preference. Men and women like can have a preference, but like don't I mean you can it's one thing to have a preference, it's another to like shame a person. I mean, I think that's a difference. I mean, if a man says, "Oh, I want this type of woman or whatever," he can have that preference, and if a woman says the same, she has a right to her preference as well, as long as you're not like shitting on the person. But it's not even a gender thing. Both parties um, body shame each other. Men body shame women, and women body shame. I mean, it goes both ways. Do I agree with it though? No. Nobody should be getting body shamed, but it happens. But yeah, I that's Sexy's opinion. I don't agree with purging the black man. I love the black man. I don't agree with that. But yeah, Anthony Byer, it does goes both ways. Both parties body shame each other. It's not even a gender thing. Both parties do it. Don't make it right, but it goes down. And big women, fat women. Let me tell you something about fat women. They get shamed very harshly when it comes to their body. Like they don't get big girl privileges. Like Lizzo even still gets bullied like for her weight. So big women still are not they're not treated um accordingly to how a thin person is being treated. No, it's not happening. Like we still have work to be done to break that stigma, cuz fat shaming is a thing. Randy says, I have many types when it comes to women. I like all shapes and sizes as long as you have beautiful face. Okay. Emily Byer says, my issue is a lot of those same women would do the same to a guy. Women, now some women, they tend to prefer a guy that's taller than them. I mean, this is my take on it. This is what I find funny though. I think it's interesting when a woman is like really short, but she still wants a tall guy. That's the only thing I find interesting. Someone like me though, like me, I'm 5'9". Do I prefer a guy that's tall? I mean, I would like a guy to be tall, but at the same time, I don't have an issue of a guy being a little bit like I don't have an issue of a guy being just a tad bit shorter than me, just a tad bit, because like I'm a tall chick. But like I don't like discriminate against guys that are shorter than me. And I actually encounter some men who don't have a problem with dating a tall chick. For some of them, that's not an issue. Like Anthony Byer, do you have a particular preference as far as height and weight goes for a woman? BSC says a little bit, but what if he has a good personality? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't, yeah, like, if it really depends, if I'm vibing with them. I don't know, just like, I'm just, because I'm a tall chick, like, I don't, that's the one thing, it's not, I like tall men, but like, it's not like one of these things like, oh, it's a requirement or nothing. But like, I mean, if I had a choice, yeah, I would like a tall guy. But if I happen to meet a guy and we're vibing and he just happened to be a tad bit shorter than me, I would give that somewhat a pass. But just like just a tad bit short, not too short. Like, you know what I mean? I just think it's funny, like when a woman that's petite, right? She off top just want to top. She want a tall man. Like she just like she don't even want to date someone her size at all, which I find interesting. But I noticed that. BSCX said, I mean, if a guy approached you 5'6", not enough personality to make you see 5 more inches, though. I'm gonna tell you what's my cutoff, my height cutoff. If a guy is like just a tad bit shorter than me, okay, I'm 5'9", so the height cutoff. I mean, 5'5" would be like pushing it. Like the guy would have to really be an exception for me to give it a pass if he was really like petite. Like that's the only way. Like I would fall for a guy that's shorter than me. Like he would have to be an exception. He would have to really be someone I'm really vibing with. Like, but yeah. Anthony Buyer says, I have no height requirement. I am 5'9" and I'm dated short and tall. I don't want to miss out on a great person or soulmate over something so minuscule. Okay. Anthony Byers says, my preferences have more so to do with characteristics and things people actually have more control over. I mean, for me, I mean, I ain't gonna lie and say I don't have a preference because, I mean, there's some physical traits I find attractive in a man. I mean, I can't help it. I just find that attractive. Like, for instance, I like a man that takes care of their body. Like they take pride in their appearance. I like I like a man to be in shape. Now, I don't mind. Now, I'll give it a pass if a guy has a little fat in them. Like I wouldn't like cancel them out entirely, but I do find men who take care of their body and take care of their appearance sexy. I find that attractive. Like there's just certain things I find attractive in a man. I mean, I can't help that. Now, I mean, as far as personality goes, I mean, there's certain traits I find attractive, as far as personality goes. Like I like as far as like personality, like I like a man that's intelligent. I like a guy that can hold a conversation. Um I like a guy that has a sense of humor. You know, a guy that's respectful, that loves me for me, and all that other shit. Jackie says a skinny man, ew, I need a little push. See, that's what I'm saying. I like a man that has muscle tone. Like a guy, like some skinny dudes, they have some muscle tone in them, some of them. But that's my preference. I like a man that has some muscle tone in them. I like a man that um push weights and shit. Like I like that. I like a man that represents strength. Like that's sexy to me. Like I can't help that. That's what I find attractive. Anthony Byers asking me, do you feel like we can't help who we are attracted to, or is it some of the influence by the society we are in? I think it's a combination of both, but for me on my end, it has nothing to do with society. Like that's just something I find attractive. I just prefer a man. I just think it's. I think I'm more attracted to a man that takes care of their body. That doesn't have that's. I'm not being influenced by society in that regard. That's just something I like in a man. I mean, and nobody should be guilt trip or anything like that. People can have a preference. I mean, it's one thing to have a preference as long as no one's being disrespectful or anything like that. I mean, some things you can't help what you find attractive. Now, sometimes some of it can be influenced by society, but on my end, no, I'm not being influenced by society. That's just what I find attractive. Like, I'm gonna tell you another thing I find attractive that has no influence of society. Like, I'm not saying it's a requirement, but if I seen it, I'm like, oh, I'm head over heels. Like, shit, that's sexy as fuck to me. Like, I like it. Like, I'm turned on by a man who has veins popping out of their lower arms. Like, that's a turn on to me. I don't know why, but it is. But that's what I like. And that's not influenced by society. That's just what I find attractive. Yeah. But yeah, this is what I notice when it like comes to height and stuff. Men don't like, even short guys, they really don't give a fuck about a woman's height. Like a short guy would date a tall chick. Like they don't care about shit like that. But I'm not saying all women, but the majority of women, they tend to want a guy that's taller than them. Like women are more so into height versus a man. Men will pretty much date any woman regardless the height. Like I never just flat out witness a guy refuse to date a chick because she was too tall or too short for them. Like I never like witnessed that. But I have witnessed countless women, turn down a guy for being too short or what have you. So that tends to be more of a woman thing when it comes to judging a man's height. The kid says, Harley, I'm 5'6" and I never had women turn me down for my height. In my city, though, a lot of women are my height or lower. Okay, that's what's up. But yeah, like for me, I'm not even one of these people that's like if I happen to meet a guy and he just happened to be a tad bit shorter than them, I would still date them. You know, like I like a tall guy, but it's not like one of these things like if I just happen to meet a guy, he had all these great qualities and he just happened to be a tad bit shorter than me, I wouldn't turn him down. You know, at the same time, I mean, I like dating tall guys, but at the same time, I wouldn't like, I wouldn't turn down a guy if they had other qualities I like just because they weren't taller than me. You know what I mean? Okay, the kid says my wife is 5'8". We've been married for 5 years now. Okay, that's cool. That's what's up. The kid says, I don't think the turn downs are as serious as social media makes it. Someone's marrying these short men. Sexy Daisy says, hardly wants a short man. Girl, stop. No, but no, this is what I'm saying though. Like, this is what I'm saying, Sexy Daisy. I'm a tall chick, right? I mean, I would like to date a tall man. All I'm saying is I wouldn't turn down a guy who's just a little bit shorter than me if he had other qualities I liked. He just happened to be a little shorter than me. That's what I'm saying. The kid said a lot of people, not only women, but people lose one of a kind people over one thing they don't like and end up not finding anyone good for years. Yeah, but oh, silly. Sexy, you really not down with the short dudes, huh? I mean, I'm just a little open minded. I mean, I don't care if the guy's a little bit shorter than me. If I happen to be vibing with him. See what y'all was talking about. But yeah, ain't nothing wrong having a little preference. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, we all got preference. Sexy said, nope, you gotta be 6'3". Specifically 6'3". Okay, what if the dude was like 6'0", like you would still turn him down? Like say if he was like 6'0" or 5'10". Like the guy just has to be specifically 6'3" for you. Anthony Byer said not having a preference doesn't mean they want you back. Oh yeah. Sexy days 6'0" maybe, but not under that. Okay. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'll give a guy a a little pass if he just happened to be a great guy and I'm vibing with him. I'll give him a little pass on the height shit. And I'm being generous. Very generous. But yeah, y'all, I'm about to get off of here. Thanks for coming through. Until next time. Peace.